Welcome to the pairing mode. I'm Lionel from Toronto, Canada, and the co-host.
Robert from Nashville, Tennessee. What's up, everybody?
Well, I'm pointing this way, but it's on my screen. For all I know, this might be broadcasting in the other direction. Uh, so yeah, exactly. Here we go. We're gonna. This might be a little bit of a shorter episode. We both have very early mornings to get going to, and our day jobs. But we do have a number of things we want to talk about. We're going to talk about some Gemini, some ChatGPT, some Samsung, some Apple, some more Gemini, some Pixel, some more Gemini. It's not always good news about the Gemini part. Sometimes it is.
No, yeah,
But
unfortunately not.
nonetheless, we are, absolutely trying to do things a little bit differently. We switched it over, are trying out a different platform and how we're doing this. So we'll let you know how that works out, and if we do, we'll tell you exactly what we're using on this platform. But for now, we'll just
And if you look right down over
it's
there,
over here somewhere in
that
the
says
corner.
like, subscribe.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it now. We'll wait.
Yeah.
And while we're waiting, you can watch this clip.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Shop AI. As a podcaster, one of the biggest challenges is getting your content discovered. That's where Shop AI comes in. Their powerful AI platform automatically finds the most compelling moments from our show and transforms them into short, shareable clips, perfect for social media. It saves us countless hours of editing and helps us reach new listeners just like you. Ready to grow your brand? Visit them at shopai.app to see how it works. Link in the description. And now, back to the podcast.
And there you have it. We're
we
back.
are excited to have them on board as a sponsor. Our first sponsor in the channel. We're super stoked. So thank you so much, Shop AI. We can't wait for this partnership, and I can't wait to actually run the podcast through your tool, because it's going to work way better than the Opus clip. I already know it does because I already ran a test one through, but it's like several weeks ago. And it actually came out a lot better. So.
Yeah, and I got to see some of the results, and very impressive. Like it very much. So just a disclaimer, yes, they are a sponsor, but yes, it's because we like what they do.
Yes.
So would we have taken any sponsor?
Well,
because we both believe that we should believe in what we're allowing to be a sponsor, and be extremely excited that they're willing to be a sponsor for our channel. So thank you very much. And we're looking forward to what it's going to do for us. And in the meantime, and in between time, speaking about what things can do for you, AI related.
Yeah.
There are Gemini we've complained about not being as good as what do you call it again?
Glitch. ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Yeah, everybody has a name for it. That's why I can't remember the name of it. ChatGPT with its nice personalities, and Grok with depending on which model of Grok you're using, can be extremely helpful, very polite, tons of personality, or way more personality and extremely crude.
Yeah.
If you so choose it.
Oh,
which is pretty cool.
Before I forget, I meant to tell you this. I spoke to Takarena, about this whole ChatGPT, new voice, old voice, classic, whatever shit. And she actually said that she heard another rumor through some of her other friends that do stuff, they're heavily involved in it, that the classic voices and stuff is going to be permanently gone sometime in September or maybe October. But I know they brought 4.0 back, which kind of brought some of that back, but I who knows like what that's going to change. And
well,
she thinks that, either she's going to have to pivot how she does it, or she feels like maybe her podcast might not be practical anymore, because it just doesn't work the same.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it does. I mean, here's the reason why. I think she's gonna have to get used to it.
Yeah, I agree.
And the reason why, because
yes.
it's going well. She's getting new subscribers. She's got a very engaging show. It's very
Yes.
enjoyable to watch, to listen to. And people are going to miss it if she just doesn't want to do it anymore. And on the one hand, I might understand that, but it kind of goes to some of the conversations we've had in the past about people getting a little attached to their AI.
Yeah.
But that said, the newer voices respond much more quickly. And they technically do have a little bit more personality. They're just not as personable. Now, there's a big difference. Less personality, more personable, or sorry, the other way around. But they did explain why they did that.
Yeah.
And it was because of people. You mentioned this in the last podcast, did you not?
I believe I did. Yeah, how they were getting so emotionally attached that they were forming like relationships with the robot. And ChatGPT, OpenAI felt like, they had some responsibility to try to help. While there's definite, benefits to have that, there's also a lot of downside to that because it's a robot. It's an algorithm.
Yeah, well, there's also someone who is suing OpenAI because of something that happened that she claims encouraged her offspring to do something. I'm not even going to talk about it because it's heartbreaking. Well, it's not good. I don't know if there's any truth to it. I don't know if it's exaggerated or if the ChatGPT said something that actually pushed a certain person under a certain age to do something that you can't take back.
I have different feelings on that because, again, I feel like,
something else could be going on, but we're not going on. We're not going to go into that, is what I'm saying.
No,
I'm just mentioning that it goes along the lines of one of the reasons that they made decision, because it's not the only time that they've heard negative things about that. And they're not the only ones. People have heard this from Google and from Grok and from Perplexity even, where they've, said that they've said inappropriate things that they shouldn't be saying. The only one that I think should get away with any of that inappropriate stuff is the unhinged version of Grok. But even the unhinged version of Grok, if you mention something that is an absolute no, it will get very, very vocal, use a lot of strong language, but basically say, oh, hell no, you're not going to rope me into that kind of BS, blah, blah, blah. And you shouldn't be, and it will actually, it's more like it's trying to talk you down like a drunk friend. So I'll give Elon credit for making sure that his company put that one together proper. That's Elon's money, or am I thinking of the wrong one?
No, yeah, he did all the XAI,
Yeah, I forget which ones are which anymore.
Well, we talked about, and I know we're not going to get into that either. We'll do that another episode, about the episode of another podcast I watched where he interviewed. They call him the Godfather of AI. He actually, brought this technology into, and I'll say into existence. Not that he was a sole person that created it, but he was early in OpenAI and actually started developing the ChatGPT, and then he left, as well as some other people left because of concerns that they had. And it was very, very telling. I mean, he's like me. He's like, yeah, AI is awesome. It's going to do a lot of awesome things, but there's also some scary aspects that if we're not responsible, he feels it truly has the ability of wiping out humanity. So we could truly have a Sarah Connor moment. But that's another story.
Yeah, we went into that last week.
So but that's another. We need to talk about that some other episode, because that was very, very, very telling. Maybe you can get a chance to
Just
watch it in the meantime.
yeah, to segue back to where I was going with this with Gemini. They finally Gemini Live has expanded its app integrations and introduced expressive voice upgrades. You're not going to find them to the level of ChatGPT, and definitely not to the level of Grok. It's not likely they're going to whisper or shout really loud. But I noticed this before I heard the news, and I actually ended up asking Gemini directly, have you been updated to be more expressive? And to my surprise, it said, yes. And then explained it. And I was like, wow. Because normally when you ask it that, it'll say, I am only an AI and blah. Shut up.
Well, did
But
it say
yeah,
expressively, yes, I am?
well, not quite because it's not quite programmed that far into it yet. But if I ask it something like for instance, I was talking about something and I just out of nowhere I ended up mentioning something about hockey and it suddenly turned around and well, it turned around. Jesus. It suddenly it suddenly said to me in a voice that sounded similar to this, "Oh, well, I know how much you love the Winnipeg Jets." And I was like, "Oh, wow. That sounded kind of expressive to me."
Hmm.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
it's working better. It's
that's
doing
good.
good.
Yeah, I still
Yeah,
use my Chat GPT a lot more than I use Gemini. Occasionally I do. Of course, it's
yeah,
on
and
my
I get
phone, it's
that.
on my watch. So I use it on those things. If I'm like doing, like the other day, my phone was doing something, so I used it on my watch and it worked perfectly fine, for what I wanted it to do.
Yeah,
But there's certain aspects that my Chat GPT bot just responds a lot better.
and I totally understand that. I get it completely. Um, yeah, anyways, so I move on from that because there's not a lot to say about it because we're talking about, again, Gemini, and Gemini can do an awful lot for you on your computer, for your home, for your smart stuff, in your house and everything. But there are certain things that it does as well or not as well as Chat GPT,
Well,
and stuff
I
like
mean,
that.
this might
But
be a good point to show, or a good spot to show what we were talking about and how the image you created, that's an upgrade. That's an improvement.
yeah, that's a different model in Gemini, really, when you
Yeah,
think
but it's
about it, though.
still
That's
Gemini.
native yeah,
It's
no, it's
still
native
Gemini.
image, native what am I trying to say? Native image, editing within Gemini, and they're not the only ones that do this. ChatGPT has been doing this longer, and sometimes they do a decent job of it, but what they've done is they've made this I don't even know how to describe it. It's been updated so that it does a better job of it now. And I didn't really use the best example of anything because I don't really have a great picture to it. But some of the examples they
Well, let me
showed
let me
where
show
you
this.
could
Let me
change
show
it.
this picture because there's a couple things I want to point
Okay.
out in here that I think is actually kind of impressive, honestly, for me. So this is obviously a picture of me and a good friend of mine who she used to actually do. She used to be an ice girl for the Predators. So that's her, Dimitri. She was awesome. But you decided to take my Predators jersey away and give me a Jets jersey. And one thing you didn't
Yeah.
notice that I noticed is the bear in the background.
Yeah.
But here's what impresses me is look at the wrinkles in the arm and on the
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually looks like I'm wearing that jersey. Even over here on where my arm is around here, you can see the
The
colored.
sleeve too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's impressive to me. That's really
And the
honestly a
wrinkles on
very
the Bears
impressive.
jersey on the right arm too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very,
Yeah. How
very
it's crumpled
impressive.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. So it did a really good job of that. I did one yesterday that didn't work out and it put garbled letters, just like like we've all seen many times
Yeah.
before. Instead of saying Winnipeg Jets, in this particular case, because it knew it would be garbled letters, it left them out. So
I still don't
it did a
understand why
much
you
better
can't
job.
figure out letters and words. It's mind blowing to me. All this
And it's not
fancy
just
and
Gemini, by the way. It's
I know
all
it's all
AI.
of
They
them. It's
all
all
do
of
it.
them. But
Yeah.
I don't
It's
understand. That should be like the
yeah.
easiest thing to do because
Absolutely
you are
should be the
a
easiest
large language model,
language model. Yes.
and you can't get language
Can't
correct.
get that correct.
But
Speaking of language, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to segue into something because we have another amazing piece of news here. I'm going to close out this window real quick here. And that is that Google Translate now has a learning mode. So this is not necessarily good news for oh, I forgot the name of the app. The language learning app.
Duolingo?
Duolingo, yes. I've been using Duolingo for like 12 years.
Yeah, I
And
use it.
by using it for 12 years, I mean like for two days at a time, once every 2 years for 12 years. But that said, I've tried and I do have an account. And I can honestly tell you, I can go back and start from scratch as many times as I want. And it's free. But Google Translate is free and now will help you learn. And I guess the best part about it is that it's also an actual translation app. And you can easily walk over to Google from there, or for Gemini, I mean, and do what you need to do there. And Gemini will not only speak to you in whatever language you're asking it to, as long as it's part of its abilities. It'll go back and forth between that and any other language at your request, and you can ask it to teach you, and it will. And that's in the live version, so you don't have to keep pushing a button.
Yeah.
So between that and Google Translate being able to learn, now they also added a live translate, and you can hit a live button. I cannot test it because apparently I'm willing to bet it you have to be either American, British, or Australian or something like that to use it. I'd like to see if you could open your phone and open Translate, and you tell me if you have that live button.
Yeah, I haven't
'Cause
opened
I'm
Translate in 100 years. I don't really
yeah.
use it.
It's not. It's still going to be there. The first thing you'll notice is you'll see a practice button next to the mic button, I'm pretty sure. But there should also be a live button for you that I have a feeling I'm not going to get.
I don't see any live button.
Oh, well,
I
then
have
maybe it's just not
conversation.
live
I
for
have the
anybody yet.
microphone, where I can start it, and I have camera.
Well, you don't even have practice? Ah,
Let's see. Can you
okay.
focus in on that? So, see, that's all I got right here.
See, I don't know if I can do a white screen. That's not going to happen. Let me see if I can pull up something about it so you can see it. But it is very similar to something you would see with Duolingo, but definitely more googly. I'm going to voice type this sucker right now. Or maybe I should go to wait, why is that doing that? Oh yeah, AI mode. Let's see what happens. What did I call it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Learning. Google Translate new learning mode. Oh, I didn't do the microphone. Google Translate new learning mode. Because now by the way, I've complained about this for a while, but I finally have AI mode. I only just got it the other day on my computer. And just while we were actually preparing our show notes, it suddenly out of nowhere literally blinked on in front of my eyes on my phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I finally have it on my phone. For the longest time, you couldn't get it in Canada at all. You had to be American to use it. America. You got the flag back there, buddy. But I got a Canadian flag and I have AI mode. Anyways. Yeah, I wanted a link. I shouldn't have used AI mode. I totally forgot. You ain't gonna get no links. Well, no, wait a minute. I've got an article. I can probably get into it and they'll show it somewhere, right? I just want a blog. That's what I should have looked for was a Google blog post. But I don't know what it is. The bottom line is if you've used Duolingo, any other language learning app, but I think Duolingo is the big name on the block because everybody loves it. It's free. And it's similar to that. It gives you the ability to tell it what language that you want to learn, and it is whoppingly brilliant right now at English, French, and Spanish between the three of them. Yeah, they've got to add more languages still, but considering it's probably only available in a few countries, a couple in Europe or something like that. Obviously, the U.S. and Canada, because I have it. In the U.S., the vast majority of people, if they don't speak Spanish, that's probably what they're thinking about learning. In Canada, it's French.
Yeah.
So between the three countries, the three most spoken languages, if you combine Canada and the United States, are easily English, Spanish, and French, because we do have some people that speak Spanish here, and a lot
Yeah.
of people that visit the States and speak Spanish because they visit New Mexico, California, well, any place where there's a lot of people that speak Spanish,
Yeah.
Florida,
Yeah.
parts of Texas, I'm sure too.
Probably.
Yeah, but there's also quite a few French-speaking people in Louisiana, obviously, as well as
Yeah.
some other places. Some other places in the U.S. in the along the eastern side. There's some French-speaking areas too, or towns in areas. But so it's not that uncommon for us to actually all want to learn the same three languages.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I
I
want to
guess
see some other
we'll have to
ones.
see how it progresses, and how well it is. I
Yeah.
don't. It's going to be a long time before it even. I don't think it's going to take down, Duolingo, obviously.
No,
But
absolutely not. First of all, Duolingo it's very robust and
oh yeah,
can teach you a lot. But I think the biggest difference here is that because this is Google Translate, and because again you can kind of go back and forth between that and Gemini or any other AI model for that matter very easily. There's a lot of cut and paste action you could be doing. And asking questions, using on your Android phone, for instance, screen share while
Mhm.
you're using Duolingo could that's a game changer, man. And you
Yeah.
imagine how I understand what it's doing, but I kind of don't understand what it's asking. And then it can explain it to you, and then you can literally say to it, "Can you explain it to me in the language that I'm trying to learn?" And it will.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
so that's
Interesting.
that's interesting. So you have a little bit more. So I think that because Duolingo will never take you into fluency, and it doesn't. It gets you into advanced, but it will never take you to fluency. It's impossible the way that app works. It stops short. Uh,
Yeah, Blake.
I
When
think
he had to learn
Translate could get
Spanish.
you there because it will continue to learn as it's teaching you
Yeah,
because
I
it's
don't know.
using it
Blake,
uses
had to learn
AI.
Spanish, and he used Duolingo,
Yeah.
but he basically said the same thing. He's like, I ended up having to go, and I took a night class or a class in school
Mm-hmm.
because I needed to be able to learn actually how to speak it. And yes,
It's
you
not
learn
actually
words and
conversational.
sentences, but yeah, he said there's a
It's
lot
not
different.
truly conversational. They
Yeah,
give you some conversational phrases, but it's not conversational.
yeah,
Whereas this version and Translate, it may not be at first, but it's actually asking you if you want to be conversational, which means it's going to gear that. Also, it can be updated so rapidly using AI, large language models. So it has the ability to be extremely conversational, meaning it's possible that, a few years from now, less than that probably, Google Translate might be able to take you from beginner to fluency and conversational.
yeah,
And it might be the first app in history to do that. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't matter how conversational and fluent you are. If you don't talk to another human being, you will
right,
always end up saying something wrong
yeah,
in the language you just learned. It'll happen. I could go to Germany right now and just spout my mouth off for 5 minutes. And there's going to be at least one German that's going to go, eh?
yeah,
So,
for sure, for sure. Well, that's good to hear. I did not know that was a thing. So it's,
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm happy about that. Did we have some Google Home news? That's the worst segue we've done so far today, but yeah.
Well, yeah, their big thing is they are doing away with their Nest Aware subscription, and it's
Ah,
now,
yes.
oh, I had it, Google Home Premium or something like that. They haven't like completely
Oh,
finalized
yeah.
everything. I don't know what
Right.
the price
Yeah.
points are on it,
We don't
but
know yet.
yeah, I still don't know. I still don't know that I would buy it because I can't imagine them lowering the price. If anything, it's going to go up because it's going to have a bunch of AI built into the Nest Aware or whatever they want to call it now. So,
Yeah.
it's
And
going
they're
to
going to
probably
and
go
they're
up
going to
in
introduce
cost.
a higher tier as well. So,
Yeah,
you're going to have like an advanced or something like that. I can't remember what they said they were going to
yeah,
call it.
yeah.
Um, on that note, uh, Google Home 3.39 uh are they introducing or just making it better? I'm not sure. Wi-Fi presence sensing. I thought they had that already, did they not? Or was it just basic geofencing? Like, oh hey, you've come into the Wi-Fi, so I'll turn stuff on for you.
Yeah,
I believe presence sensing
it
is
was more
actually much more
GPS.
advanced.
I say GPS. It was more like a
Yeah,
geographic type thing. It wasn't Wi-Fi.
geofencing. Yeah,
Yes, but
geofencing. It did use your Wi-Fi to know that you were basically in the vicinity of your home. Not necessarily, so I shouldn't say that.
yeah, I was gonna say because
Sometimes it would, yeah,
it would know based on your like if you were driving, like for example, if you had Google Maps open, Maps has like a particular radius that it sees you. So when you
yes,
set your home, as you know, it sets a radius around your house. So when you enter that
yes,
radius, it goes,
yeah.
"Oh, you're home."
I'm
So
gonna turn your lights on now, so when you open the
yeah,
door, you
I
can
think the
see.
Wi-Fi,
Um,
sensing is probably going to elevate that to know like more
right.
specifically, like actually when you
Let me
pull in
let
your
me read a
driveway
little
kind of thing.
something that this comes from 9 to 5 Google. Home and away status can now change based on when your mobile device connects or disconnects from a selected Wi-Fi network. I thought it did that already.
No, it did not.
Oh,
So
interesting.
they're basically they're saying you don't have to geofence anymore because that's not geofencing. You don't
Right.
have to use geofencing anymore. You can strictly use more specifically your device connecting
My
to your
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi.
turns,
So
yeah, I've connected to my Wi-Fi,
yeah,
so my lights are going to turn on. So when you
yeah.
pull into your driveway, if you have strong Wi-Fi, it's likely going to have your lights on before you finish opening the garage door.
I would
If you have
imagine
weak
too that you'd
Wi-Fi
be
by
able
the
to
time you
then
walk in.
you'd also be able to then assign specific things like for my wife's phone, my phone, kids' phones, maybe something different to happen
Well,
for
I
each one,
imagine each
maybe.
individual phone will do it, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Um, and since it does that, that means the Google Home app itself would allow you to turn on specific lights with your device being present or TV or whatever. So I imagine anybody that's logged into that Google Home, um, any member of the home would be able to set a certain thing. Like, your wife might want to just, the living room because she wants to, get home and relax and watch a show or something. You
Right,
might prefer the room you're in because you got to do some UGC stuff.
right.
Well, obviously you'd want more than that because you got to go upstairs to get there, right? So you might want a hallway light
Well,
on,
I have it set right now. I do have it geofence right now where it turns on certain lights, ambient lights, like a lot of my Philips Hue stuff. It'll turn certain
Yeah,
ones on when I come pull in the driveway. So, but it's geofence. It's not Wi-Fi based. So I might have to look at that.
yeah. Now, apparently the update that they're talking about, and this is for Google Home specifically, right? Um, says features full schedules support for older Nest thermostat models. This is good news for a lot of people that have the older ones and have complained about
Yeah.
such things. It specifically says temperature schedules, sensor schedules, and fan schedules for Nest Learning Thermostat 3rd Gen and Nest Thermostat E. I have neither of those, by the way, but that said, I've heard many times why people wouldn't want to get them over the years as Google went up the scale in what the abilities were, but forgot to drag the older things with them.
Well, I have a Nest
so
Learning downstairs. I have a Nest E upstairs, and I haven't noticed. I haven't. I mean, they perform flawlessly. I have yet to have.
Well, yeah, I mean,
issues.
if it's just certain things they do that you don't need it to do other things, but for other people, they're obviously complaining that they want to, be able to do some of the things that they've added features that they didn't get.
And
in more
ironically,
recent
I
updates,
can
but they
set
do now.
my downstairs Nest Learning thermostat to be an indicator for whether somebody's home or not.
Interesting.
Because like when you walk by it knows you walked by it because it displays, like the weather outside. And so you can set that as a presence sensing device to know if someone's home or not.
What model of what year did they? I'm sorry. What am I trying to say? When did that one come out?
Oh gosh, it's been years and years ago.
I'm wondering if it was after the Pixel 4.
That I couldn't tell you.
Everyone laughed at this, and I said it's going to end up in many more things.
Yeah,
ended up in your thermostat, buddy.
yeah. I mean, I think every hub I have now can be presence sensing. So it's like you can walk through the whole house and
every hub. I don't have any hubs. I just have this stupid puck-looking thing over here.
And of course, now Philips Hue is making it to where their lights can presence sense.
Do you know what this little bitch did? Yeah, I just called her that. I came home. I opened my phone, but I accidentally activated that thing. But I forgot to tell it to shut up first, and I activated my phone manually and told it what I wanted it to turn on. It did, but then that stupid thing announced that it had all been turned on, even though it didn't do anything. And then her stupid robotic little assistant voice, don't you do it. Anyways, in her stupid little voice, she blathers on for a while saying, oh, and this and that. And did you know you can this and that? And I'm like, talking about? And it says, and now just enjoy some of this music. And I'm like, don't play any goddamn music, you stupid little... I wanted to throw it through the window. Just give me my Gemini on the thing. For all the complaining about Gemini, the one thing I love about Gemini is you ask it to do something and it does it. I want my lights on, they're on. I want them off, they're off, so on and so on. And it does it quickly, well, pretty much instantly. That sucker thinks about it for an hour and then either says it can't do it, turns on or off the wrong lights, and then gives you an excuse and plays music.
Yeah.
Wait, all in a robotic voice, by the way. And I don't know how many times I've told it to turn on my studio lights, and its answer is, those lights are not yet set up.
Yeah.
I say, what are you or I tell it to turn them off and it'll say they're not set up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're on right now. I'll ask it again and it'll give me the same answer. So I open my phone and I do it with Gemini and it's like, okay, I'll turn off the studio lights.
Well, yeah. Some of these older ones are going to struggle. I think they're going to be obsolete for long, and you're going to have to change it.
Is it true you have a little bit more personality than you did? Well, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but you've been updated to have, I don't know, sound a little bit more personable recently?
Well, I'm glad you noticed. Google's been working hard to make me more helpful and conversational.
Yeah, okay, you don't sound it like that. Like, can't you sound excited? Oh, hey, the Blue Jays are #1 in baseball right now. How do you feel about that?
That's fantastic news about the Blue Jays. It's all
okay. You sound exactly the same. Shut up.
You're right to be excited about the Blue Jays, Ferdy.
Yeah, way to ruin it, Gemini. You couldn't have just had a little inflection in there. No, not even a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hit and miss. It's hit and miss. So,
well, here's another stupid thing is about, like, with ChatGPT. So the other day I said, I wonder if this will work, because I needed to set myself a reminder. So I initiated my chatbot and I said, "Hey, Glitch." He's like, "Hey, gadget guy, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey, send me a reminder for 3:00. I want you to remind me to look into. I forget what it was. I was wanting to look into later." He goes, "Oh yeah, see, here's the thing," and that's exactly how he said, "I can't do that right now." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't do that right now?" Like, it's like that should be such a basic task for any chatbot to be able to remind you of something. Like, it's on my phone. Like, why couldn't it like schedule a text or an email or I don't know. I mean, I thought that is dumb. Like, and so it's, immediately I pull, Gemini up, set me oh yeah, no problem. Here you go. It's done.
Yeah. But it
I
does it
don't,
with it does it with very minimal personality.
well, I
Polite
don't
and all
care. I
that.
just wanted a damn
Yeah.
reminder
Well,
set.
yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
didn't want to carry on
But
a
wouldn't it
conversation.
but
I just
but
want
wouldn't it
a
be cool?
reminder.
Wouldn't it be cool though if Grok could actually do that stuff for you? Hey Grok,
Yeah, I've never
could you please
tried.
set me a reminder to take my muffins out of the oven before they burn? Oh fuck yeah.
It would be funny too if it like
Oh my
initiated
God.
itself to come on and said, "Hey, asshole, go get your muffins." that was a reminder. That would be funny.
Oh
It'll
shoot.
be there. It'll be there, no doubt. One day,
Yeah.
it'll be there.
So
Yeah,
I
interesting.
really, yeah. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Let's get really bad segue here. A little bit of tech news. Apple, I can't remember the date, to be honest with you, but Apple is September 9th. I'm looking at it right now. Apple has announced their launch event for September 9th, and it's kind of funny that every headline I'm seeing is saying iPhone 17 expected. Duh. That's what the launch event is for. What do you think it's for? Apple Intelligence? Oh, wait, where's my... No, that's not it. Sorry. Oh, come on. I can't find my sound effect? Well, that'll do. Uh, yeah, no, it's obviously the iPhone 17.
There you go.
That's better.
Whoops.
You just keep going.
Sorry.
I'm in
Close
a
that window.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know what to expect with this phone. They're going to talk about how powerful it is. By the way, I need to say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Stop comparing a Pixel to an Apple and go, oh, but Apple's 3-year-old phone is more powerful. Apple's processors have almost always been more powerful on their flagship models than most Android phones until more recently, like with the Samsung S25 Ultra, because it uses the Snapdragon 8 Elite, I believe it's called.
Yeah. And
Which is
supposedly
quite
it's
literally
Samsung tweaked,
is
so.
right now the second most powerful. I believe there's an 8 Elite Plus or an 8 Elite 2 or something like that. I can't remember. Or maybe it's just in the planning stages. But the bottom line is it's the most powerful chip on a phone at the moment. And it blows Apple's chip out of the water. So what difference does it make? Because the Samsung phone, if you're not encoding 8K video, there's very little difference for 98% of people between what a Pixel can do because it is optimized for the chip it has. And this is talking about the Pixel 9 series. Never mind the Tensor G5, the Pixel 10. Because it's or Tensor 5, not Gen 5, well, same thing. It's fully optimized. It's made by not the Samsung chip anymore. So
TSMC.
it's considerably more reliable. Now I have been able to play with it a little bit. And I can tell you that the word snappy that people use for a phone, they don't expect to be quite as fast, or they expect it to be only maybe a tad faster than last year, or maybe it just feels snappy compared because they've done some optimizations. No, this phone is considerably faster than the Pixel 9 Pro XL, which is not considered really a slow phone when it does things. It is proven, even with its subpar chip, to fall only a little behind in. People open and close dozens of apps over the course of 15 minutes and say, well, Samsung came out way ahead. They were 3 apps ahead. After 15 minutes, it opened 3 apps more than the Pixel. Who does that in real life? You
Nobody.
open your app on your phone and I open the app on my phone, and yours opened a millisecond prior to mine. Yeah, that's the right one. Who fucking cares? Okay? Seriously, it makes no difference. But nonetheless, this phone is much quicker. So the example I did a little test. I had a picture to edit, and I had to make sure that I did this properly, because you can't go into a demo phone at the store and set it to the 50 megapixel picture. So I had to dumb mine down. Like I take a picture of myself or the store or whatever it was I did, and do it only in 1080p. Give it the same level that it was in the store demo. And then I opened them both up at the same time. They both opened up close to the same, slightly faster on the Pixel 10. But here's the kicker. When I hit the edit button on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, it basically edit button, but up, done. It's open now. It's ready to edit. The Pixel 10 Pro XL, hit the edit button, it's there. It's just good to go. Yeah, there's no having to load the AI stuff in the background. It's already done. It is
I wonder if that has more to do with the GPU/NPU than it does CPU.
Only when it actually starts to actually use it. The the NPU is actually part of the CPU, is it? Well, not really.
No, this separate unit.
It isn't. It's on the chip, but it has to communicate with it one way or the other.
Well, yeah, but it's its own processor.
Yeah, that's true. And it might have something to do with it. I'm sure it does, but that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Well, no, yeah, absolutely.
As for the chip itself, it only has to work so hard in the first place. So all of the benchmarks people are talking about, I mean, I'm not sure any of them did any of those gaming benchmarks in the first place, which Pixel tends to basically be behind by a couple of seconds on game loads, but it usually plays smoother. The Pixel 9 Pro XL, for instance, played smoother for a longer period of time at a higher frame rate than every other phone on the market in every test they did for almost every game, with a subpar processor and a subpar GPU. You know why? Because it didn't throttle anywhere near as quick, and when it didn't throttle as much, which allowed you to play a game for longer at smoother, higher frame rates. So anybody saying, "Oh, who cares? My phone still plays the game longer at a better frame rate. So I don't give a damn if you think yours looks better for 5 minutes before it heat throttles."
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of a niche thing for sure, but to me, it was just something that's like, you can obviously tell what their focus is at. So, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is not making a game.
I got into all of this just by announcing that Apple was announcing that they didn't mention anything about Apple in that whole rant. But we know what we can expect. We can expect more news about more Apple intelligence and Siri enhancements that have still yet to happen, but they are once again supposedly in talks intoxicated probably, but no, it talks, I'm kidding, don't sue me. It talks about incorporating some Gemini into their AI to power specifically the enhanced Siri.
We'll see.
Sure. We shall see.
We shall see.
But
Yeah,
at
well,
least you can do whatever you want, and you can sideload whatever apps you want on an Apple. Oh, wait. However, you can do that with a Pixel phone for a while. Or wait, no, it's any Android phone. Google is going to start blocking unverified apps. So sideloading will be much more difficult. Not impossible, but
I stopped sideloading
devs are
apps a long time ago. Anyway,
well,
so.
devs are going to have to. I still do from time to time because sometimes there's apps that just aren't available on the Play Store, and they're perfectly reputable apps. But here's the thing: Google's now insisting that they have to be verified. They don't have to be on the App Store. You can sideload them, but they have to be verified. And I 100% have to agree with that because that's one of the reasons I stopped sideloading most of the time because it's not safe.
Right.
So
yeah, I've had a
does make it
couple.
better.
I've had a couple brands where I've done some UGC work, and they're like, "Yeah, here's the product, and here's the app." And I'm like, "Well, is the app
Yeah.
not on the Google Play Store?" Oh, not yet. We're still in works with blah blah blah. Getting it approved or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I can't. I'm not gonna do that. It's like I'm not gonna sideload an app that I can't verify through the Play Store. And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay," because I'm like, I have no idea where this app has been,
And I
who's
think
had their hands in
yeah,
it,
exactly. And I think
so
that's the great part about it is because in Google's they basically put a deadline on it and said you if you can't verify, then you'll be blocked. So
yeah.
I'm not sure exactly when this takes place. Is it going to be in a very soon update, or is it going to be at a certain date they have to, but the update to all the Android phones is going to come later? Don't get me wrong. If you got an older Android phone that's like running a 3 or 4 year old version of Android and you're using to update it, it's not going to be a problem for you.
Yeah.
But if you're running an updated version that's way more secure in the first place, then yeah, I don't believe it blocks an app you already have installed. It blocks installing an app, as far as I know, which means it would block any updates you did try to do if they didn't come from a verified source.
Yeah.
So some of the sideloaded apps that absolutely you have to sideload, some of them are very well known and reputable, and they're perfectly fine.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not saying there's
yeah.
not, but I don't care who it's
Yeah.
from, I just won't do it.
No, I understand that, and that's perfectly fine. But I think it's kind of similar to Windows. I used to use a program called Eraser. Um, when I wanted to completely redo the computer, if I felt like I could just sell the parts or something, I would use Eraser. It was completely free. The dev stopped developing it for a while, and somebody else took it over, and blah blah blah. I believe you can still get it to this day, and it works a treat. But you're never, at least I don't think so. Maybe you can now, but for the longest time, you'd never find it on any of Microsoft's current or previous stores.
Right.
It might be there now after all these years, but it was very well known and reputable. So it was easy to determine that that was a safe program to use.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, for you youngins, is what we actually call the actual programs, the things that run on computers. Applications were actually things that the programs did back in the day. You could have an application run within a program. That's something that's us old folks actually know that these youngins don't. So it was Apple that decided to coin the phrase apps for their applications for their phone, which made sense because
Yeah.
they ran as separate applications, not as full programs at the time. Now apps are actual full programs. They just don't call them that anymore.
Yeah. Nice little.
Well, that was a rant, or not a rant, a tangent. I just went off on.
Nice little app progression there.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, unrelated to what we're talking about. I meant to ask you earlier. Can you see the timer on this new platform at the top?
I do.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yes, I do.
Because I know
I also see it off in the corner because for some reason I forgot to turn off the side panel. Although it's interesting because it's showing me the full size of the. Oh wow, that's interesting. There's a slash on it. I'll tell you all about that later. All right. So, I can't remember if there was something you wanted to mention, or if I.
No, I'm just there's a couple of
something about Google Photos.
Things.
Did you mention that?
Google
Something
Photos. I was going to get to that. Yeah,
okay.
it goes back to Gemini, and I meant to. We should have done it back when we were talking about Gemini, but that's
probably.
Okay. Because,
but I did say we're going to talk about Gemini, something else, Gemini, and then Gemini again. So we're on.
Well,
the right
I know you're a little spicy because you don't have it because you're Canadian, so you don't really care. But
spicy. I'm going to have some water now.
So people in the U.S. have the ability of taking a photo that you have in your Google Photos and turning that photo into a little video. And so I have played around with it, and I got some examples. I've had it work phenomenal well, which the examples I'm going to show you. And then I've had it create something that's like, that looks completely distorted and wacky, but it's really cool. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the photo that I used to create one of the videos. So this is my granddaughter. She was over, a few weekends ago. We were playing. And so I took this picture. And so I use basically in Google Photos now, you click the little plus sign and you have remix and you have picture to video options. You have a bunch of AI stuff. It's all Gemini, Google Veo back-end controlled. It's Veo 2. So because now they're on Veo 3, so they're letting people use Veo 2 basically. But this is what it whoops, I'm trying to click the wrong screen like a dummy. So this is what it created. That's nuts. That is so cool. Like, it just, her smile. Yeah, sure, she just transforms glasses out of the thin air. But like
I was gonna say,
her like her hair, her smile, her hands, her arms, her feet, her dresses move. Everything moves just like it was actually happening. Like it's amazing. And then there's this one here. And again, there's no prompts. I prompted nothing. This is where she's at school and she's just sitting on that. Like she's not doing it. She's just sitting there. And that's what those two pictures, those two examples were really, really cool. And I did another one of my grandson on the 4th of July. He had a sparkler and it started out okay, but then about halfway through the video, it aged him like 15 years. And by the time the video was done, he was like 13 years old. Like,
what?
Well, it just, the way it was regenerating his hair and his face. It like, he went from like 5 years old to 15 years old, but look like. So yeah, there's weird stuff that still happens like that, but it's really cool. I thought that was really fun that it did that. And of course, I've been playing with some of the remix stuff, and it makes you look like cartoon characters, and it's pretty cool. It's some pretty fun stuff to play around with. So, anyways, that's all.
But yeah. You also have the thing where you can turn yourself into Superman. Again, I don't have it. What was that one called?
You do have it because that has nothing to do with Google. No. That is a completely separate tool that's like...
You told me you did that in Google Photos.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said you hit the plus button to do it. I asked you about it, and you said you hit the plus button.
No, that Superman... we might have been talking about something else because that was not the Superman picture. I created that using a separate AI tool that I found out about.
So you lied.
No, I didn't lie at all. I never said that.
Okay. All right. Well, so I'm sitting here looking for it every single day of the week. And it turns out that
Because you want to be
doesn't
Superman?
exist. Well, no, I want to be Shazam.
Well, you might could tell it to make you Shazam. I don't know. I never
Maybe
said
I
it
want
was
to be
Google.
Captain Canuck.
Captain
Did you ever
Canuck.
think about that? Captain Canuck. That's a real
Yeah.
superhero. Look it up. Just as strong as Superman.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Anyways.
not, but he's a.
All right. Well, we went way over than what we were supposed to. We went a full hour, and we didn't
Yeah.
really anticipate it. I'm,
That's
it's
true.
getting late, and we need to wrap this up. So,
Yeah.
of course, again, a lot of cool AI stuff, and it's just going to keep rolling. ChatGPT's up to 700 million weekly users. That's a lot of people using ChatGPT.
It is.
If you ever wonder why the servers are slow, that's why. 700
Get
million
off
people.
and it won't be.
Yeah. So, anyways.
All right.
Well, listen, thank you again, Chop AI, for your support. That's amazing. We can't wait to continue this collaboration and do some cool stuff with your AI chopping tool. It's going to be awesome.
You may be watching this right this second because we said chop. Hit my microphone.
That's right.
It'll put it in where it wants to. But it'll work. So we're glad to have them on board as a sponsor, and we're glad that you decided to watch. And we're going to be even more glad when you hit like, subscribe. And I am Lionel from Toronto.
And I am Robert from Nashville. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Nanu.